kind of let it do its thing in the morning, and then come back right on the PM a little after FOMC ends. But then Thursday we got unemployment, so that's gonna be very exciting. We'll see what's gonna happen, but I am feeling pretty bullish. You'll see that we're actually stuck in a buy program here. So from this low to this high, from this low to this high, we are essentially in a buyer's program right now. We're close to all-time highs. We opened up last weekend on Sunday, creating all-time highs for the NQ and stock market. So right for that, right for your 401ks. Now it seems to be retracing down a bit. I do think that's just scare weak longs. If we go to the electronic trading hours opening range gap, I think it's no, not this one. Where are you? Where are you? I keep you here. Yep. You see, look at how we've been behaving on MNQ, NQ futures. See that we created this open price traded back down to consequent encouragement, and look at how the bodies are supporting price there in that area, along with the wicks too. Look at that wick, perfect. You'll see that the consequent encouragement comes at 23.486. The low of this candle comes at 23.486.25, so a tick, just by a tick above. It's pretty accurate, guys. So I think this is a sign of support. Whereas we open up into a premium range, so it just needs to trade back down to consequent encouragement just a little bit before it continues up to go further. In terms of what's being left behind, so you see that this has been acting as support as well. We dipped that into pre-market sell-side liquidity. Let's see here. So I'm still just looking for that SMT divergence. If we're gonna keep going up higher, I would like to see a low get traded to, but a low not traded to in the other one of the indices. We'll measure that. We'll measure that tap liquidity from this leg down to the B leg down here. See if it can close above 25% and send it rallying up higher. Friday, I just want to make a quick revision of what was occurring Friday. Friday we had like a funny little short-term sell-side delivery program. I didn't see it back then in the live stream, but when I was reviewing my trades on Saturday, I realized that we did enter a small sell-side delivery program up here. Okay, so we were looking for it to trade back down, and there was a trade that occurred back here around London session, trading back down all the way to New York, London. You could have traded another SMT low here, would have converted us into a buy program, and then seeing how these highs got tapped on the way up, like the pre-market highs, London buy side liquidity, even to 12 a.m. What I was having issues was here. You saw in the live stream, it was kind of very difficult to kind of distinguish price and trying to figure out where it was trying to go. We did get a small minor sell side delivery program as soon as it tapped. I believe it was London buy side liquidity. So I thought that we were going to have this rally up to head back down lower for deeper prices in order to continue going higher, but that wasn't the case. These signs of showing of support here, we weren't closing below like the order block. Old lows. They were kind of just being kept like protected, and then slowly but surely we ended up getting to the drawn liquidity, which was the 12 a.m. buy side liquidity, and ultimately Thursday's highs. See that expanded greatly, and we retraced back down, leaving behind more buy side liquidity. So something that's interesting that happened over the weekend is that we left behind these buy side liquidities from Friday, but you see we gapped through it on Sunday. So I'm gonna keep this on as untapped for the time being, because technically speaking, there was no trading involved in that area. So because there was no trading done in that area, the price really technically didn't go through that area just yet. So I'm gonna keep that as reference for now and kind of use that as an old high to see if that will be used for support. The point is that I'm going to be using this flag as an indication that that's going to be our first A leg, retracing down into this buy program. So all the old lows, that's an old high. But this low down here too would be interesting because that's all that was left behind from yesterday's close, from yesterday. It's kind of like, think of it as like unfinished business, and price might be drawing into that level as well first before we can continue seeing prices go up higher. Because think of it, right? If we're in a buy program, you want to buy when it's the cheapest, right? When it's a really deep discount, right? Do you want to buy uh, do you want to buy a gift when it's 40% off or 80% off? Obviously you want to go in with the higher discount, right? So right now the highest discount are these lows, and so that's anchored inside from this low to this highest buy program. So if we can get down to this low, let them close lows because that's again unfinished business. Let me see if I see any other lows here that could be. So again, you want to buy things for it at a deep discount, no? So right now these are the levels that I'm interested in, particularly these two. I don't know about this high. This is kind of new to me because it's an old high. So I'm wondering how we will react off that level as well. So if we're trying to get into discount, then we must be in a short term sell program, right? But notice there really hasn't been any SMT to prove that. See that all the highs have been broken up to. If there was a high that wasn't taken, but the other one was, then I would consider a short-term sell program. But that's not what I'm seeing right now. So my thing is right now it's just wait, just wait. But if we are gonna garnish more sell stops first before we can go up higher, we can look and see on the lower time frames to see what kind of structures is in place that we can trade accordingly. So it is currently 9:20 right now. So I like to refer back to the 7 o'clock. Okay. So we had this dealing range here. This low that was taking, the highs that were taking up here. As soon as price retraced down here, we've disrespected its A leg, its foundation leg. So I am not going to expand this dealing range. Instead, I'm be interested in seeing as it creates lower lows, how it retraces back up to these levels. And it hasn't, right? If it hasn't retraced back up to these levels, there's a sign that this could possibly mean speed. They're in a hurry. Smart money is in a hurry to get somewhere. Where we have the sell side liquidity resting from Friday's lunch. That could be a potential target. Remember, we're looking to form that B leg, and there's no other business left that was left behind except these lows. So, if that's the case, I'm looking for any. If I'm going to be shorting this, it's going to be like a short-term scalp. Let's see here. So what I'm pretty much doing is looking into the charts, seeing the short time frame structure in place, and seeing how we can use that as support or evidence that the price will be heading into our predicted direction. So in this case, for example, we're predicting the price will be going down lower first to create that SMT. So right now we're looking at the structure in place to see if there's any form of evidence that price should be able to go down lower. For example, if it's 9, I don't know, 903, 904, right? And we see this in place, and then by 905 we see this close. If we're looking for sell side delivery, we can use this balanced price action, balanced price range, for it to trigger a limit, a sell limit, or a sell stop, whichever you prefer, to take it back up here, keep shorting it lower. So that's where I think we're going to be going. See that we keep taking down to create lower lows. And if this was the old me, I will be trading everything I see here. Meaning that I will take everything at face value. If I see the structure showing a bullish direction, I would have disrespected my higher time frame insight and just trade what I see here. And a bunch of times, that's what usually caused a lot of my burnt accounts too, was the fact that I was getting into everything, every little price fluctuation, and not keeping in mind the higher time frame perspective. That's something that is still a struggle for me sometimes because I get so tempted to just want to go in there and just start wrecking stuff, Uh, course, over time, you start getting a better grasp about yourself, grasp about what it is that you should be looking for, and you kind of start getting certain ideas, especially when you're trying to have higher time frame objectives. You sometimes see that price creates structure to fool people, thinking that it's going to be a bullish price action. But if you have a direction of where it wants to go, then that bullish direction you can use that as an inverse and trade that towards the direction that you were going for initially. Which is what I mean. This is perfect because if you're trying to see sell side and you see a bullish price action, just take the inverse of that. As soon as it closes below that range, take the sell right there and see if it will get down to your profit objective. But I wasn't seeing that before, and that took me months of just reanalyzing, backtesting, seeing how price behaves again, and not easy. So we have old highs, right? Unfinished business, again up here, up in these old highs. So if we could use these highs to get an SMT divergence into a mini sell side delivery program, we can see price close below 25% and take that lower to get that into lower discount. So imagine if you anticipate a higher push upwards, right? For the sole purpose of getting into buy side liquidity to garner more shorts, right? Fake out those weak shorts because there's a bunch of sell stops up here too. So if you can fake those people out and trick those, thinking that it's going to go up higher, you'll take out the weak shorts, you'll take their seat, and essentially you can ride it for much more lower prices, garnering you more profit, right, on the short side. It's just something that I just noticed too that could possibly occur. This is what I think is going to occur. We're going to make a fake rally up, thinking it's going to be another bullish day, supporting the idea that we're in a buy program, right? Despite the fact that we haven't made an SMT low, so there's no cracking correlation yet. So I believe smart money is still looking for a cheaper discount so that you can get into to accumulate more longs. If that's to occur, right? Right on the sell side delivery curve right now, there is no unfinished business that we have tapped to. The only one that I'm seeing right now is the lunch from Friday. So I'm anticipating it to reach up to this buy side delivery, right? And if we get SMT here, that will initiate a sell side delivery program. Once we close down 25% of it, we can retrace back up to that 25% and sell. Sell down here to Friday lunch sell side liquidity. Why does that need to occur? Because there's a lot of sell stops up in this as well. There's a lot of stops around this area in the form of buy side liquidity. So you can fake both the breakout artists who are thinking that it's going to break up to this high and keep going long, and you can take out the weak shorts who are anticipating their highs here to be protected. You can take both of them out, trade it up to this level, break down through it, make them think it's going to keep going higher, or like a little fake push, and then keep selling down lower. Okay. So you can take out two parties at once with that kind of price movement. Just gonna adjust my skills here and see what would have happened if I was a little greedy and and wanted to get into everything. So right now I'm seeing this as an excuse to go up higher. It's a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. So as price traded down to it, it was sell side efficient. Now it just needs to trade back up so that it can be buy side balanced. So that this fair value gap can be balanced, and if a fair value gap gets balanced, this is an intermediate low. So what are we seeing now? All right, let's see here. So you saw that idea pan out. It's a little hard to hold. I'm not gonna lie to you, but you saw it hold nonetheless. I also want you to notice the buy side idea of where did it occur. So we see that we're in this higher time frame buy side delivery program. If you look at the low to high and look at the 75%, you divide this quadrant from this high to this low by half of it. This half equilibrium down low is still a discount. So when price dipped down below here, look at what ended up happening. Not only were we in a discount, but also we were looking for a buy side delivery to occur, and it did. So that's interesting to take note of as well. So something that I noticed was that as soon as we had tapped up to this highs from our CME open, that first high that was tapped should have been our SMT leg to head down lower. It wasn't closing below 25% and instead made a second leg higher. That's kind of making me a little concerned if this is going to be an actual high that we're going to react from to get down to lower prices. So it's kind of making me self-doubt here. Because I haven't, not that I haven't seen something like this before, but just something to take note of. So something, again, that I don't feel confident about, didn't like about it, is the fact that we traded up to the first leg, didn't get our entry, but instead got it on our second leg. I don't like when it double dips like that. But we're still looking to see if it will trade down lower to these levels, to Friday lunch sell side liquidity. Notice the expansion lower after 10:15. Breaker. Went back up again. Is it going to get to its medium threshold? It didn't this time. But I was feeling a little unconfident about seeing a double dip like that. Initially, I would have liked to see the first leg be our B leg, but then it went up again. Usually, when that kind of stuff happens, when there's SMT, right, and then it dips again, that's usually a sign for a continuation for the uptrend, right? Something like this to continue. And what I usually tend to see is that price uses this as a manipulation down lower to get into deep discount to give us like a retracement before it ends up going up higher. So this is beginning to worry me, this idea that we had earlier that's going to get down to lower prices. But I'm still holding this position anyways just to see what happens. Let's see here, it's already about to be 10:29. So I'm actually even be reconsidering my position here just to protect myself since I am trying to recover this. I'm seeing a reason to go down lower, and that's what it was as we were saying since the morning, that we want to get down to the sell side liquidity. But in order to do that, we got to first get ourselves into a minor sell side delivery program. We suspected that the highs of the CME Open were going to be the inception of that leg lower, but the fact that we went up there again and we caused this little quick retracement now from this low to this high, we retraced down to deep discount, and now we're hovering about the breaker area that we had here that was balanced. Um, that's kind of what's negating that idea. But then there's also the idea of it going bullish as well, because whenever we have a second stage SMT, what I like to call second stage, is the reaction that occurred after the reaction of the suspected highs. So once we had this high to this higher high, that's the first stage SMT that we were anticipating would be the inception for lower prices. But the fact that we went up there again meant that this is our second stage SMT from this high to this higher high. So when that usually happens, I usually tend to see a retracement down to a deeper discount before a continuous going up higher in this case. So that's why I see two possibilities of it going both down and up. And now look at how it's behaving around this area. Call that consolidation, call that high resistance, call that time distortion. But right now it's really risky. So you'll see that I had a short position that's still embedded in the first idea that we had, but now I've decreased the take profit because of what I've been seeing in the charts lately. If it breaks me up to break even, that's fine. If it breaks me up to profit, that's fine. I'm just not expecting it to move either or, right? Unless we see not distortion, a displacement for institutional sponsorship to sponsor move, right? So if we're gonna keep going higher, it can either treat the high of that external range as support to continue going higher as well, or it can purge and revert, meaning it'll just trigger the buy stops that are resting up here, only for it to sell down, down, down quickly. But we're not seeing that right now, are we? Hmm? Look at that. So I think I see where we're trying to go now. Oh, okay, London lunch. So that will be our next potential leg that we can see price head up to. Okay, as we're approaching the 11 o'clock hour, I want you guys to consider the new formation that we'll be having on price action, right? So we have the high to low, lower high. I'm sorry, higher high, higher low. So I see that as an unimplied mitigation block. So we'll take this high to this low, okay? And we're gonna want to see quick expansion of price, just wanting to fill this this range. From the moment it opens up, we want it to fill quickly as possible to get up to these highs. Will we do it? Will we see it? I actually want to stay to see if we'll see that manifest. That's why this thing can get kind of complicated because you're not just looking at one market, you're looking at how it's correlated with the other three. And if you add inter-market analysis to the mix, now there's even more things to consider as well: the dollar, bonds, interest, all that stuff. But all in all, just looking at this price action alone, it's crazy. And besides the 10 a.m. news that we had this morning, we're also getting in preparation for the what should we call it, the FOMC. And I just realized I made a mistake there because Monday there's really no news. This was for Tuesday at 8 a.m. So jokes on me, huh? But anyways, anticipating run up to higher prices. See how that's gonna get us. All right. So I hope you have a good one, and I'll send you a screenshot if it ends up going.